Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I am Aaron Loomis coming to you from the Drew Estate Studio. With me today is Jiunn Liu from the Box Press Studio and from the Pistania Studio, John McTavish. How you guys doing?
Good,
Don't
good
ever speak
man.
up at once. Yeah,
We got PCA coming up. It's kind of like getting the family back together, and it's all about family.
that's true.
Mm,
Very true.
Fast Furious.
That's the first movie.
All right. So today we are talking about the Padron Family Reserve Natural number 96. This cigar was kind of Toro-ish, 5 3/4 by 52. Comes out of the Tabacos Cubanica factory in Nicaragua. Wrapper, binder, filler, all listed as Nicaraguan. Price point is $30.50. Cigar was released in April of 2023. And we picked these cigars up from Corona Cigar Company. So if you are in Florida and you're one of the locations, be sure to stop in for a cigar and a libation. But if you are not in the Florida area and would like to pick up some cigars from them, you can give them a call or go to their website and place an order, and they will ship to you very quickly.
And the libation.
Yeah, even if you want to package up some liquor with that cigar order, you can do that as well.
Hell yeah.
All right, so with all that out of the way, June, what was your overall experience like with this cigar?
Yeah, overall was pretty disappointing. I thought the cigar delivered like a lot of variations of spice, and not enough, other things to kind of work around that. So a lot of like baking spices, like a sharper, raw baking spice, spicy cedar. Got some of these mineral hay notes to it, but just, a lot of spice and wood, I guess. But you know, it was like that the whole time. It was a little bit of an assault on the palate, medium full strength, which I didn't mind. But if you're gonna just give me such a like spicy, kind of leathery, component to like package to it, it's hard for me to like want to keep drawing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, average.
All right, John, what were your thoughts?
So I rated this cigar overall good, and it kind of has a little asterisk on it where it's good, and somehow I'm disappointed. So I'll just kind of quickly walk through that. I totally echo a lot of what June said. There's a lot of different spices going on. There's some black pepper, like some sort of coarsely ground, intense black pepper. There's some cayenne, cinnamon. So like you really I think you have to enjoy spice to dig this. Unfortunately, I'm a bit of a spice head, so I did enjoy that. There were some, creaminess that offset that. There was some baking spice or some graham cracker that offset that, which was nice. But that first third was almost I would classify it as almost Espinosa like, where probably medium full to full spice levels, and that might be off-putting for a lot of people. Because most Padrones I wouldn't classify as being that spice forward. Second, third, fortunately for me, was a little bit more chocolate leading off, chocolate wood, black pepper, graham cracker, powdered cocoa. And then the last third kind of, pleasant, but really not what I was expecting, just kind of chocolate wood and hay. Little bit of more medium baking spices. Burn was pretty good. I had to do a touch up, which man, oh man, $30 and I got to touch my lighter. That's not a good sign in my books. Draw is perfect. So good, but for 30, just about $31, I was like, man, I have Padrones in my humidor that I feel like perform better than this for half the price. So a little disappointed. Aaron, what about you?
Yeah, for me, the cigar started with toasted oak, slightly sharp baking spice, and light earth. Got some mustiness that joined in a bit later. Second, third saw the baking spice transition to black pepper and a light bitterness kind of joined in. And then final third saw the profile become dry and the bitterness increased and kind of took on a damp component. I thought the cigar had a fairly average flavor profile through that was kind of focused around the toasted oak, baking spice, black pepper combination and earth. Nothing that I really found all that exciting. And with the very high price point, this cigar is just a really easy pass for me. So, um, I'll admit I'm not a bit, a Padron, fanboy or anything like that. Like I just don't find the cigars to be, anything that's like wowing all the time. Like, yes, there are some that are good. But I just don't find that as a regular occurrence when I'm smoking through some of the various offerings. So this kind of just fit there. And then yeah, with the higher price point, like John said, like I would much rather smoke some of the lower price offerings than smoke it through this. All right, let's get into the scores. We are going to start out in the top with John at 6.72. I gave it a 5.45, and then Seth and Jiunn both gave it a 5.3. So, John, how about 6.72 matchup for you?
It feels high, because there's sort of so on one of the previous cigars we reviewed, I think Jiunn had it as good in multiple thirds and then rated the cigar over average, and I was like this close to doing that to the Padron, where I was like, the first and second third was good, but my overall takeaway was it was kind of average because, um, there's a lot of things going on here, but it's an anniversary. It's $30. Maybe there's a little bit of like I'm expecting more out of Padron, but like honestly, I came away from it and at a 6.72, I was like, this is disappointing. There's like I could list 10 6.72s that I'd rather smoke over this price point aside. So feels a little high, honestly.
Okay. My 5.445 matches up well. It was an average flavor profile throughout. Burn was perfect, but the draw was a bit loose. And I know we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Jiunn, how'd your 5.3 match up for you?
Um, it's fitting. It's definitely not a good Padron. Well, this is maybe the one of the few times in which, a brand comes out with a 30, like a higher price cigar, and I'm not shocked by it because that's what Padron Family Reserves have been doing for years.
Yeah.
But with that comes, you know,
Responsibility.
responsibilities, absolutely, for you to provide a good, consistent smoke, which typically, in my opinion, Padron does a really good job of, but not in this case.
Yeah. All right. Okay, final thoughts on this one.
So I was smoking this cigar, and sometimes I'll message Aaron when I'm smoking a cigar for review, and just kind of like basically verbalize through text kind of what I'm going through. And I had an interesting moment through the first third. I was like, it feels like something is missing. Like it feels like, and I can't put my finger on it, but like there's a hollowness to the flavor profile. And what did you say, Aaron?
I said I felt like the cigar was bunched like a cigar that was gonna be box pressed, but they never box pressed it. So it kind of had that, it just
Mm.
had that looseness that, because I mean, Padron box presses the majority of their offerings, right?
Hmm.
And to do that, you have to kind of not, you're not packing the fill and then pressing it because you're not going to ever get a draw out of it. So you roll it a little looser so that when you press it, it kind of closes up a bit, and then you kind of get that draw that you're, typically looking for. But this just felt like it was packed loose and it just didn't, and they never pressed it, so you didn't get that, and it was just really kind of, I'm not saying like it was like an open straw, but like it was definitely where if you just kind of did your normal draws on it, you would heat it up pretty quick. So you had to kind of like temper that a little bit just to not go crazy with it. But I don't get loose draws very often. It's for me, it's way more on the, I'll get a slightly tighter draw or a really snug draw before I'll ever get anything on the looser side for me. So it's not like I'm, you know, uh, it's common that I like to complain about loose draws. So when it happens, it's kind of rare for me. So just that was interesting. All right, any other thoughts?
So I think the regular Padron 64 is like 1680 or something like that, somewhere around that 16 $17 mark. And so the whole time I was smoking the Family Reserve, I'm like, would I rather smoke two regular Padron 64s or one Family Reserve? And I was like, yeah, I'd rather smoke two regular 64s because number one, they're really consistent. I think the flavor profile is a little more what I would call traditional Padron, where it's a lot more of that chocolate and less of that spice. And it's hard for me to set aside the value proposition of like two-hour smokes versus a sort of 1 2 hour smoke, which is kind of disappointing. And um, yeah. So and I've had like you said, I've had Family Reserves before, and some of them, quite good, and some of them, just kind of good. But this is the first one I think I've smoked where I'm like, eh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, wherever you're catching this video, be sure to like and subscribe, but check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Follow us on all the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.
With big prices comes big responsibility.